Hello there, this is Seriously Speaking. Yes, today I'm talking with people who have gone from thought to action because they believe that ideas, stories, and talk itself can cause change. And that is the essence of what we're doing here today. Yes, it's a brand new year. We are still basking in the euphoria of 2018. What are the goals that you set for yourself? I hope one of them is to be able to help to make things better for our country, Nigeria, and of course, Africa and the rest of the world. This is Seriously Speaking. I'll be back with people who started what we call SWORTE talks right here in Nigeria. And it takes no shine at all from what you guys know as TEDx. We'll be back. Yes, TED Talks, you've heard, in Nigeria now. We have TED Women, we have TED Surulere, we have TED here. But then, while it's good to do things that exist everywhere else, what about those here that are trying to cause change by getting people to talk and share ideas? That's the group I have in the studios with me today. And I would like to introduce, first of all, let me start with Dr. Gunsoya, the matriarch and the thought behind SWORTE Talks. Dr. Gunsoya, welcome to Seriously Speaking.
Thank you very much.
Right next to, and I'm going to jump you because you're an old customer here. We have Mr. Victor Ajufo Obi, who is also with SWORTE Talks. And then, of course, Mr. Ophele, Chief Doctor. Hi, Chief. Ophele of Okada Books, Ophele Speaks, all of the above. Welcome to Seriously Speaking. I would like to start with you, Dr. Gunsoya. After a career as a professor in the university, I mean, as a lecturer, you know, Americans call it professor, with a PhD, and you decided to go into education in a different way. Tell me about that.
At the university, as a lecturer, I saw the caliber of students we admitted and the level of their attainment and the level of their maturity and sense of responsibility. And when I left the university, I thought it would be a great idea to impact the lives and change their mindset and their mode of operation and studying before they got to the university. And that's why I decided to go a step lower and provide a bridge after WAEC, after secondary school, before they went into university, to prepare them better for independent studying, to elevate their level of maturity, and for them to also be able to cope with the freedom that they now experience, because it's a sharp jump from secondary school where they're protected, everything is done for them, to university where they more or less have total freedom. So it was set up. I started my college as a bridge to bridge the transition from secondary school to university.
Well, I went that route because in the same way, what you're doing now, I mean, this your not-for-profit work that you're doing is simply because of a gap you also saw for these students. You told me about looking for one of the TED Talks, so trying to tell me about it again.
Yes. Because of the TED Talks concept and the information and enlightenment and impact that for my own, the students could get, I couldn't find TED Talks in Nigeria. I know a session or an event had taken place. I actually went online, got the details, got the email of the person who convened, contacted by email, no response.
This was in 2015.
This was in 2015. And so I sat back and I said, why don't I start something that could be useful, that could impact the mindset of the students, and generally, gradually, the community at large. And that's how I came about the concept of people coming to share their stories. And therefore, I came about the name SWORTE Talks, Stories Worth Telling. It's to expose people to other people's personal experiences. So it's quite different from TED Talks. It's not ideas. They don't have presentations. There's no PowerPoint presentation. People just come and speak to the theme. And we select people who have experiences that align with the theme. So they come, they share their stories, personal stories, they tell it from the heart and share their stories. And people in the audience are able to be informed because our tagline is inform, inspire, and influence.
Now, let me come to Victor. At what point did you join the team, and what did they do to convince you to be part of it? Because I know this is not a paying job.
Yes. Interestingly, I got invited for first SWORTE Talks, the maiden edition.
Just as a guest?
Just as a guest. And I was working with a company at the time, and I received the invitation. I was like, okay, this sounds interesting. And I went to represent.
Was this last quarter 2015 or first quarter 2015? Last
quarter, September 2015.
Okay.
And I went for the event. And immediately after, the next day, I was just so excited with the kind of information I got. I felt so inspired.
Can you remember who the first guest was?
Yes, we had Dr. Christopher Kolade was one of the people on one of the people on the maiden edition. So the next day, I sent an email straight to Dr. Gunsa, and I volunteered. And I said, I can identify what you're trying to do, and I would like to serve in any way possible. And she almost responded immediately. I said, come on board. And since SWORTE Talks too, I've been on board.
So you manage, what aspect of the SWORTE Talks do you manage?
Okay, what I do for SWORTE Talks is I'm involved in publicity, using the internet, using social media to try and promote the event. Everything we do from the point of registration, for people to get registered on the event, people to confirm their attendance, and also to inform. So it goes on beyond just letting them know, keeping them informed about the event, and post-event, trying to also keep them updated so that the conversation can continue.
Did you join early too, Ofili?
Yes, I joined it
from early. From the word go?
Yes.
How did she find you, or how did you find her?
We ran into each other in the supermarket.
Oh, really?
Yes, and I think you bought the item for me, I can't remember, and they said that there was a SWORTE Talks something.
She says you're an Oxbridger.
Oh, yes, ex-alumni, yes, and that's how and then that's how she shared the idea. And of course, she bribed me with jollof rice and chicken in her house, because that's what she provides for us. Dr. Gisa provides for us at the meetings. But that was the first time I heard about SWORTE Talks. It was when we met at the supermarket, and there was this idea. And I attended the meeting, and the rest is history. I've been there ever since. We worked on the first program, as Victor said, and we've been going strong.
Given that you're also quite visible in voicing your opinion on social media and things like that, did you see a need for this kind, and you also publish books. Now, this is not a book, this is speaking, yeah.
Yes, I liked the unique angle with SWORTE Talks was taken, because it was stories worth telling. What we find a lot when you're trying to connect with the youths are people that are saying, do this, do that, do this, and have a PowerPoint presentation, breakdown. But when you have where people say, I failed at this, and they tell the stories from start to end, the youths are able to connect deeper. So I think that was the unique and interesting part with SWORTE Talks. And then the other exciting part was the fact that we inserted charity work in it.
Oh,
so
really?
It wasn't like just talk. There was an action part of it. I mean, we went to slums at Costain and saw what difficulties they were facing, raised money to help them. We went to hospitals and saw the difficulties they faced, raised money to help them. So it was talk, but talk with action. A lot of people are talking, but very few are doing.
Tell me why you took that route of talking in action, because, again, I'm sure that who pays for all of these things? I'm sorry, I have to ask.
We're self-funding. Mostly self-funding.
Okay, because you have to get a venue,
yes.
You have to give refreshments,
yes.
You have to, you know.
So everybody chips in, everybody. It's an amazing team, phenomenal team of people who work together on the SWORTE Talks team.
So why did you choose the talk and action, like Pidgin would say, talk na do? Why did you go that route? And
because, you know, when you talk and everybody moves away from that forum of talking, people, I mean, there are different groups of people. There are those who will internalize it, move on, and do something with what they've learned. There are others who would say, oh, brilliant, fantastic, a bit further than that, and they forget.
They walk away.
But the whole idea of bringing in charity, because it's actually at the events, we get the owner of the charity to come and do a short presentation about their charity. We pass around an envelope, and people donate towards the charity. Okay. So that, again, gives traction to what we're doing, and it gives some level of connection with other people in the community as well who need support in a way that we want to try and achieve.
No, now tell me, though, you've had 8, right? So it's like you pick a theme, and then you find somebody who fits that theme, and you think of a charity that might benefit from the person's work or what? Tell me, I don't understand.
Okay, what we do is we pick a theme and find people that we feel that can identify with.
What was the theme
them.
for the last quarter in 2017?
Okay, we had, it was the youth.
Mm-hmm. You had two, maybe
youth of tomorrow, today.
So the character, I mean, the graphic read youth.
The force of tomorrow.
Cross the tomorrow
out.
Today.
And because the idea was to let them know that it's no more a case of tomorrow. You have to basically take your destiny in your own hands and begin to make a change today that will benefit your tomorrow.
The truth is the essence of what you're doing that is interesting to me, right? So when, at the end of the day, people now contribute towards a charity. So what was the charity that was the case for this one, for example?
Ikechukwu Foundation.
Oh, there was somebody, okay.
Yes.
It was a foundation that was, what do you call it, was helping women. Yes. And basically we're trying to raise funds for them to assist them with
So how do you find, I mean, in other words, can people apply to you that, how do you find the people that you help?
We come together and we kind of deliberate on the charities that need assistance and help. And we then decide, just the deliberation process, who we feel needs it the most. We try not to do charities that are already out there in the open. We try and do charities that we can take and bring them out and put more light on what they are doing. So we've done the Blind Society I think in Oshodi. Yeah. So those are the type, it's not one style of charities that we
Okay, it doesn't have to be, okay. Yes. But there's always one charity. But I must take a break, and when I come back, I want to track the progression and see how people can at least take a leaf off your books. I'll be right back.